What's up everyone? Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon is now out of early access. The full 1.0 finished version is now out, and this game is huge. I've been playing through it pretty much non-stop for the last few days, and there's a lot the game doesn't teach you. There's a lot of things that I was in like the second and third map when I first realized they existed, and I was like, oh, I wish I knew this sooner. So today I wanted to do a full beginner's guide of those tips. The tips that, I wish I knew at the start of the game, the things that the game doesn't quite explain, but once you get your head around it, it's really simple. So let's get straight into it, and I'll keep this spoiler free. I will, be showing some zones and the map and stuff. But I'm not going to talk about the story, so you don't have to worry about that kind of spoilers. So first things first, fast travel. If you open your map, every single zone, every map has these little towers. These little towers. They look just like this. The pointy towers. These are fast travel sites, and they're everywhere. You can find them. Any notable place will have a fast travel thing nearby, and you use these, and you can then travel to any other one. So you can ping around the map as easy as you want, and you can ping between the different maps. So there are 3 big zones, and you can jump between them freely with these fast travel sites. Now, to make it even easier, what you can do is you can put down a campfire. If you put down a bonfire, and you use your these things here, your ethereal cobwebs, to level up your campfire like this, now you can fast travel from your campfire. So I can click this, and I can click any of these like that, and I can then fast travel anywhere on the map, and that goes for the other zones. So once you can start making a good amount of ethereal cobwebs, and you have so many of these in the late game that you can fast travel anywhere whenever you want. So you finish a dungeon, you finish something in the bottom of the map, you can just fast travel back to town instantly. So that's one thing to get used to doing, because it will save you so much time backtracking around. Okay, now the next tip is similar to that in a way. It is to travel at night. So when you go to campfire, you can rest, and early on you think, I should just travel in the day. The monsters are stronger and weirder at night. In the day you might be fighting like normal monsters and humanoids, but then at night you're fighting these like weird spirits and these empowered monsters, and things can feel a bit tough. So you might avoid the nighttime and just be playing in the day, which is what I did for like the whole first 15-20 hours maybe. But you should fight at night. You should go out and do your quests at night sometimes. Like when you can, when you feel strong enough, you should do quests at night for 2 reasons. One, the monsters at night drop these ethereal cobwebs. So that is our main source of like doing a lot of things. So there is a big quest in the first zone that requires a lot of them. So I would make sure you're spending some time fighting at night. Additionally, they will drop these things here. So if you've upgraded a campfire, you can identify items. They drop these. Monsters at night will drop unidentified items. You get tons of these at night. This is from one. I was just playing like one evening, in-game nighttime, doing a quest in the nighttime, and I got all this. And what you do with these is you just upgrade your campfire, you press identify, and you basically can just identify all these items. You have like decent, good, immaculate, exquisite, and some other stuff. And if you just identify these, they cost like a little bit of ethereal cobweb to identify. And you can see here, sharpening stone and a pretty good 2-hander by the look of it. Then you've got like the immaculate, a +6 knight's greatsword. That is amazing. You can either sell it for a ton of gold, or you've got a +6 sword, which would take you quite a lot to get to make. Obviously, I'm near the end of the game in my playthrough right now, so that's good. Early on, it won't be that juicy, but it will be. You will be getting +2, +3 items very early on. So definitely make sure you're doing this. I mean, there's a exquisite here. That's good for potions, I think. +2 health potion, +3 sword. Like, you get some really good stuff. So definitely make sure you're playing at night, farming at night, and doing your quests at night sometimes to get a good source of these, because they do give you massive upgrades, and sometimes better than what you get from quests. Okay, next up, a tip on managing your inventory, using the stashes and like moving items between towns, stuff like that. So generally in RPGs, this is frustrating. You're a little loot goblin, you pick up every single item, and then you become over encumbered. And oh, this vendor buys this vendor, and it's quite frustrating. This game is so simple. It's the gold standard, in my opinion, of just comfort. So once you get to a town, you want to go to any little town or village you find, and you're looking for this item here. These little chests, this means it is a stash. Now, every single stash is shared. So I can put an item in here and this stash in the second zone. I can go back to the first zone, go to the town, and take the item out. So you can have complete freedom of items like that. All you do is go in and just deposit. You just put everything in like this, and you can take it out whenever you want. So I will basically just pick up everything. I just pick up every single item I can find and just dump it in there. Just unless it's like a potion or food or something that you're going to use, just dump it in there until you need it. And the best bit is when you go to a vendor, if we go to this guy here, and then we go open shop, you can buy, you can sell, but then you can sell from your stash. So when you've gone and you've dumped all the items, don't worry about it. Just fill your stash as much as you can. And then when you go in, you can just start selling like this. You can just start, you know, selling the things that you don't think you're going to need. Like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. And it's just so nice. It's so nice. And then once you get to like a crafting station and you want to start crafting, you can just go to your stash and decide what you want to take out. So yeah, really, really nice system in this game. So make use of the stashes. Okay, the next tip is skill statues, which you might never have seen even if you've played this for a while because they're very easy to miss. So as you're running around the world, as you're playing, you're going to find these statues just like this. They look like a person with a type of gear on and then a plaque. Now they're very, very easy to miss. You might see them and go, oh, that's cool. And just avoid it. If you go up to these and you inspect them, you will gain skills. So if this is clearly like an archer, so I've already used it. So you would go over, you would interact with it, and you would gain stats in archery. So your archery level would increase, and it goes up by quite a bit. So always find these. There'll be ones with like two-handers, shields, swords, magic. So every time you see like a statue like this with like a, you know, an engraved little plaque with a specific weapon type, even if it's not your weapon type, you may as well just learn it. Okay, now let's talk about how to get your very first horse. A permanent horse, you know, it's free. You can use it throughout the whole game if you want, and you can get it very early on easily. So if we go to the first zone, this is the first zone. So spoiler for the map, I guess. In the bottom left, you have the main town. This is where you're going to go. I would recommend going here early because you get a lot of quests here, and it's a good place to start, like crafting, storing your items. Really good place to go early. From here, all we do is if you come out and just go up here a little bit through the market square, there is a bridge. It's called the King's Road. There's this long bridge and it's broken here, so you can't actually like fully cross it, but there'll be a few quests around this bridge. Now what you can do early on is you can go here, and at the very end of the bridge, you see like where the bridge has crumbled here and you can't cross. Under the bridge here, if you go to the bridge at the bottom level, under it there's like a little camp under the bridge. There's a guy there. You can go there. You can beat him. He's fairly easy to fight. After you've got a few levels and, you know, you've actually played the game a little bit and, you know, you come through with the combat, you can go fight him and you can just take his horse. That is the first horse I found. He is like, and he's not passive. He will go for you, I think. So it's not like you're not doing a bad playthrough and stealing it. It's just there after you beat him. So you can go get a horse there. That's the first one I found. There might be others that are easier to get, but that's the first one I found. There's a couple in the second zone. There's a rare one you can find as well, at least one. So there are some cool things, but this one is probably the easiest one I've found to get. So yeah, I'd come here and grab it. I will say you don't need a horse this game. The zones aren't massive to the point where, you know, you're traveling for ages and ages and ages. And there's so much to pick up and so many things to like fight along the way that I rarely use the horse, to be honest. But if you want one, it's there. Okay, now just a quick thing on some tools to always carry with you. So as you play through the game, you're going to find different things that are useful. For example, you find a pickaxe at the very start of the game, save it. You'll find others, so don't worry if you sell it or lose it, but just always have a pickaxe on you. And there are other things to always carry with you. As you get to certain towns, you'll also find, you know, shops that you can buy these at. And here is what I would always carry. So if you go here, this is like the setup I always have with me. No matter when I empty my inventory, I keep this. First, a shovel, because it allows digging. And everywhere you go, you will find buried chests. And these can have like potions, really good gear, like certain food items, treasures to sell, like rings and jewelry. So these are really, really handy. I would always carry a shovel no matter what. Then I would always have a pickaxe. This has two uses. One, it can mine, and mining is used for upgrading your tools and for crafting. So you want a good source of ore throughout the game if you're going to craft. If you're not going to craft or upgrade your gear, fine, you don't need it. I mean, you could sell that stuff, but you don't need it. But I made sure to mine. But also, there are certain quests. One specifically comes to mind, so you definitely want it for some quests where you're in like a cave or you're in a zone and you have to mine to get to certain exits, or mine to like uncover secret parts of the cave. So this is really good just to have the ability to always be able to unlock those areas. And then finally, the woodcutting axe allows lumbering. So as you go around the zone, certain places will have like it'll be like a stump and then 4 logs around it. That means you can lumber there. So you can go there and you can just start, you know, using the axe to just chop through the wood. Additionally, if you're really hurting for wood and you need more, vendors do sell it. And if you rest for like 24 hours, all of the wood around the stump will respawn and you can get more. There's some quests early on which involve like using a lot of wood. I won't ruin it. So that's a good tip if you do want to like stockpile a ton of this early on. So yeah, these are tools I'd always carry. Okay, now let's talk about some combat and build tips. So when you're looking at making your build, you can make any build you want. You can make a full heavy armor, two-handed fighter. You can make a full mage. You can make a hybrid. And there's no punishment no matter what you do. And if you mess up, keep playing, and eventually you're going to find some of these potions here. These long, thin potions called origin potions. These let you fully reset your build. I've reset twice now. So yeah, feel free to just play however you want. There's literally no fear of messing up. You can reset your stats and your skills, and you just find these in the game. And if you're worried about like, oh, I want to play a hybrid, I want to do both, you can. I'm going to show you some gear just quickly. So I guess spoiler for gear if you're worried about that. If we just look at some random gear items, you look at this here, this needs strength, dex, and perception. So if you're in all three, you can use that well. This needs strength, dex, and spirituality. And spirituality is magic, right? So, and this, you see here, it does heavy attacks, cost an additional mana, and shoot a wave of like magic weapon damage. So there's some really cool items that you can use if you spec into different things. There's like perception and dex, and perception's kind of like crit and it's like sneak and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot you can do that needs 4 different stats, and it's the same with armor. So don't feel like you're nerfing your character by trying to do everything. It's not one of those games where you have to go down one path. In fact, you're rewarded for spreading your points sometimes. And when it comes to your points, don't worry about like not having time to do everything. So if I show you here, I fully did 2-handers, and then I switched over to 1-handers and fully leveled 1-handers in one playthrough. So you can fully like change your build, have fun, switch back, and you know you're not really punishing yourself too bad. So yeah, the builds are really flexible. So have fun. And then combat specifically, in my experience, here's what I found. Magic is incredible. Magic is so good, especially summons. I've tried a little bit, I've dabbled a little bit, and then respect out of it. But if you go into your skill tree, there's a perception section here, and the summoning section. Oh no, the spirituality is magic. The summoning section, summons are very, very strong. So even if you're gonna play like a warrior with summons is fun. A warrior with summons is strong. So like, yeah, I think the summoning tree is very good. I haven't gone full magic, but the stuff I've played has felt strong. Dexterity when it comes to bows is amazing. I'd highly recommend if you're going into bows to make sure you get all the like weak spots and reduced stamina costs so you can actually hold the big bows. Otherwise, when you put on a big bow, your stamina will just go to 0 instantly because you can't like pull the string back basically. So I'd do that even if you're not going like a full bow build. If you're going to pull a bow out, I'd put those few points in. Now the elephant in the room, parrying, I will talk about. So I think everything in the game works really well. Blocking works really well. You could just tank a hit, get a hit back. Magic works really well. Archery works really well. Whereas parrying, I would say, is very clunky. Parrying feels rough. So here's some tips to get around parrying and make it feel better. So the problem with parrying is when you take a hit and you parry it, instead of losing health, you lose stamina. Now, if you're taking a hit from like a big boss, they can put you from full stamina to 0 in one hit, or near 0 in one hit. So you take a hit, you parry it perfectly, and you're out of stamina, so you can't do anything. You can't dodge, you can't attack, you're just a sit and duck. And usually when you parry, they don't get knocked back and go, ooh, they just keep attacking. So it feels like you get punished for parrying it a lot of times. So here's some tips. One would be to go into your skill tree and put points into the parry window. In dexterity, there's a parry section. 3 points here increases the parry window, so you make sure that when you parry, it actually works, and you have a better chance of timing it. Up here, you get additional lifesteal on the next attack, because when you parry, you are at more risk than blocking or dodging, because you are going to take some hits because you're going to run out of stamina. So having the lifesteal after a parry feels good. And then here, you can also parry projectiles. This is amazing. Almost every mob like has some sort of projectile, like bandits will pull a bow, some things will throw things at you. So this is really, really good to have for parrying. Now, rather than just using the parry system and doing that, a habit I would get into, which I think works a lot better, is dashing. So this is the dash. You dash in and you dash out. Now, what you can do here is in the tree, you can go into skill tree And if you go in the movement section, I've just respec my character to try something new. But in the movement section, you want to go down here and add one more long dash. This will give you an additional dash. And, depending on how heavy your armor is, it's really nice to have the extra dashes because you get, you can dash more with less armor. So even as a heavy armor build, I'd grab this. And then that means what you can do is say that there's an enemy there, you charge the attack, you dash in, you hit, you dash out. That is what I would get used to doing. You find an enemy over there, you dash in, hit, dash out. That is a lot better than standing and, swing, parry, swing. Because if you get a few swings in like this and you parry, you're already out of stamina. So yeah, I think dashing is much, much better. Think like Elden Ring, if you dodge the attack, you dodge 100% of the damage. So that's one thing I found to make the game much easier. The last thing I would recommend is if you're going two-hander, the two-handers feel amazing. Make sure you grab this. Make sure you grab the in the two-hander section, there's a lifesteal section, which is incredible. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Two-handed attacks have lifesteal. If you max that out and max all of your damage, you can just take all the hits. You don't have to worry about parrying. You don't have to worry about blocking. This is how I played through the first 2 acts. Just a two-handed weapon, and you just eat hits, let things hit you. You're in heavy armor. You negate a lot of the damage anyway, and then you just hit them back, and you heal back a lot more damage than you take. This feels really, really strong. So yeah, I'd go for that. But yeah, that's hopefully some things to make the combat a little bit easier. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I hope you found this useful. These are, the big tips that I can think of after playing through the game, and I hope you find them useful. I definitely made a lot of these mistakes and didn't take any of this advice early on because I didn't know about it, but hopefully you have a much smoother playthrough going in knowing this. This game has really surprised me. I've dropped a lot of time on this, and I've loved every minute. It's a journey. I'd say it's an adventure going through this game. It's a lot of surprises. I don't want to ruin. I've tried my hardest not to show spoilers of the quests and like the main story because it's exciting. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you want any specific guides like on the factions, on a certain playthrough or build or anything like that, do let me know. This is just coming out into full release. So let me know if there's anything specific that you're struggling with or that you want to see more of. But that's it from me. If you found this useful, do consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.